This presentation is going to discuss on-campus housing information for international students. On-campus housing for international undergraduate students includes Maxi, Union, the Quads, De Saussure, Thornwell, or 650 Lincoln. If you are setting up your Wi-Fi and technology, you can view this page to see instructions. If you are having problems getting connected, call the Department of IT at 803-777-1800. If you're on campus, select EDUROAM and follow the instructions to set up your Wi-Fi from the Technology Services website. Here are some important phone numbers to keep in mind when you are living on campus. Your resident mentor on duty will have their phone number posted in the hall. The USC Police Department number is 803-777-4215. You can call your resident mentor if you're locked out of your dorm or if there's an emergency after calling the USC Police Department. Residence life staff includes a resident mentor, an assistant residence life coordinator, and a residence life coordinator. If you are receiving any packages or mail, keep in mind your mailing address will be different than your physical address. Each student has a unique mailing address that is assigned to them. You can locate your mailing address on my.sc.edu under student addresses and phones. As an international student, you do have the option to select a meal plan. You currently do not have one. To add one, use your student account via mysc.edu or visit the Carolina Card office. You can add to a meal plan later, but you will not be able to downgrade after certain dates, so make sure to plan accordingly, depending on how often you think you will eat on campus. Something that is different in the US compared to your home country may be that most college universities do have roommates. If you share a room, both roommates have equal rights to the room. You cannot keep the other out. If you have a private room, both roommates have equal rights to the shared common space, such as the living room, kitchen, etc. If you do have any roommate problems, talk to your resident mentor. If you're having guests, make sure to consider your roommate before you have parties or invite friends to stay overnight. Always ask first. Keep in mind that men and women cannot stay in the same apartment overnight. It is important to keep your space clean. Make sure to take your trash out. Always keep food in the refrigerator or in closed containers. Do not spray for bugs yourself. Report bugs to the university or the building manager and let them spray. And there will be at least one health and safety inspection and one room inspection per term. It's very important to keep your place clean. The university does have the right to enter your room for inspections or repairs at any time. If you are charged fees or fines by university housing, both roommates will have to pay. Our office cannot change housing fines. That is something you will have to discuss with the housing department. If you need any repairs, if you live in Maxi, De Saussure, or the Quads, call 777-3499 to report a problem. If you live at Union or 650 Lincoln, request a maintenance request online or call the front office. If no one comes within 2 to 3 days to repair the problem, inform your resident mentor. If you lose your key, it is $150 to replace that. So make sure you keep your key and your Carolina Card on you at all times, and make sure you always keep your doors locked to your dorm or apartment. Some basic housing rules to keep in mind: no candles or incense, no guns or weapons, no pets, no smoking in your rooms. USC is a tobacco-free campus, so do not smoke anywhere on campus. If your roommate smokes and housing discovers it, both roommates will be charged. This also includes e-cigarettes. Some major policies to keep in mind: you can have a guest stay a maximum of 3 days. There are several offenses that will occur if you are underage and caught drinking alcohol. So if you're not 21, do not drink any alcohol. Do not do any drugs, and do not put signs or items in or out of your dorm room windows. There is a fire alarm protocol. If you hear the fire alarm, leave the building through the side exit doors, not the lobby. Do not use the elevators. Cross the street or parking lot to move away from the building. Look for any instructions from the residence life staff. Wait to be called back in and bring your Carolina Card with you. And remember to have general respect for the community and common spaces you will be living in. Do not use the fire extinguisher unless there is an emergency. If you use the fire extinguisher when there is not a fire, there is a $100 fine. Do not pull the fire alarm unless there is a fire. Do not cover the smoke detector. Do not use incense or candles. Do not cook on high heat. If you hear the fire alarm, you must leave the building. If you pull the alarm or cover the smoke detector, you will be fined $150 or higher. In the US, you cannot drink alcohol until you are 21 years old. This is very important because I know this is different in your home countries. If you are under 21 years old, you cannot purchase, possess, or drink alcohol. If you are over 21, you cannot buy alcoholic drinks for or serve them to anyone under 21. Never have a party with alcohol unless you know everyone is over 21 years old. Violations will result in a judicial review by student conduct. Student conduct of the Carolinian Creed. Illegal activities include underage drinking and drugs. Please do not be disrespectful to others. No racism, sexism, non-assistance to personage in distress, etc. None of this is tolerated at USC. All these could lead to judicial problems or a conduct hearing at USC. Some final helpful tips to keep in mind. Communication is key. Make sure you always talk with your roommate about any issues you may be having or just what you expect living together and how you want your living situation to be. You can also talk with your resident mentor. Keep in mind, always be open to different ideas or points of view. Get to know your fellow residents and neighbors in your dorm or apartment, and get involved with a club or an organization on campus. You could go to garnetgate.sa.sc.edu. And that is it for today. Thank you. We are finished.